Let's talk, a little bit of, on the marketing side. Obviously, you come from a marketing background. We've talked before. Even IR, and other types of things mixed in there. Let's talk about, some cool things that you've done, and maybe some interesting things going forward to shed some light. Let's first talk about the ticker you guys got. I mean, I thought that was pretty awesome. That obviously you guys have PSYC as your as your ticker. I mean, my first instinct was, wait, I'm taking a psych class in university, but obviously, in the industry, it makes a lot of sense. It's a kind of great marketing play. Do you want to touch on that at all, or just kind of pat yourself on the back?
We definitely had it up our sleeve for a little while there. We knew as we were going down sort of the cannabis path, again, hopefully, I can sort of speak to my own and say that we identify emerging markets. And with my group of investors and different people that were sort of my advisory board at the time, we saw this coming, the psychedelic side. So we said, if we could definitely work on a ticker symbol change that was going to coincide with what we thought was going to be the future of our business. And luckily, yeah, we definitely were very lucky and fortunate to get PSYC. And ultimately, from a marketing standpoint, it really comes down to, and what we're working to establish, is to provoke change. That's really what we want. The stigma surrounding anything that's out of the norm, so psychedelic related or cannabis related, there really isn't a safe place for information to be transmitted. And that's what we wanted to create with PSYC, is the ability to have credibility in the market space, and really eventually come out as a player within this industry for transmitting and seeing where we take the business venture in the future. So definitely fortunate to get PSYC.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on, obviously you guys are doing a website, it's just the first step, but talking about, for people that might watch this and be like, oh, it's just it's just a website, or it's just this, just that. What's the potential opportunity? I kind of wanted to touch on some other things, I researched, and really bring up like how much opportunity there really is being the informative leader in a growing space like psychedelics. You can take it all the way back to like the dot-com boom. It was a very famous magazine called The Red Herring. At one point had over 1.5 million paid subscribers on a yearly basis for magazines. This is even before the internet. They would talk about dot-com stocks. So extremely interesting. They would, of course, do a lot of the information gathering for investors, or even just for people interested in the space, and kind of would put it in a magazine on a monthly basis. Like, hey, there's some exciting things coming out of Silicon Valley. This is here, this is there, and it got a ton of traction. One of the most successful magazines, of that time. But going to other industries, you can look at, when cannabis first started popping up, you saw a ton of informative websites getting, bought out. You saw a ton of them getting incredible traction kind of in early 2012 to, late even 2014. You were kind of seeing that. And if we carry that forward, you saw similar with crypto. When people were on the Bitcoin bandwagon, searching for anything, there was a ton of informative websites that would really pop up. And for people looking at, oh, well, what's the use? It's a place where, investors or interested parties can go, and the information is prepared nicely for them. It's already vetted, right? And it's organized for their benefit. And I think that's a incredibly valuable going forward as a, kind of research tool for people. And, when you're in an industry where it requires a ton of teaching for people that instantly think of, yeah, it's magic mushrooms in my backyard. If that's how people are thinking, there's an incredible amount of opportunity to kind of teach these people. And I think that's an amazing as a first step, and great to establish yourself as a kind of industry leader and an expert in the space.
Yeah, definitely. So just like you said, it's sort of an establishment, and I don't think you can't ever underestimate the value of information, right? And for us, it was really just, a launch into hearing what are the consumers looking for. And by consumers, I mean not necessarily people that are looking to use any particular psychedelic per se, but from an investor standpoint or informational standpoint, or, take for example, a mother that's looking to research for a child, information regarding different treatments available for anxiety. Like this is the intent of this website, is to find out what is the readership, what are they looking for. Like for example, our success in the cannabis industry came from 2 years of research and listening to the different facets of the industry, from the growers to the distributors to the government side to the regulators. We listened in and we found that there was a dire need in the payment space. Banking, even to this day, it's still unsolvable. It's the most difficult component, I believe, in the industry itself today, and we are still actively working to tackle that. So being able to identify in the earlier stages, what are going to be the needs of this particular industry, I think that's going to be key, is finding out, which direction, and like you said, a lot of big companies that were successful in the cannabis industry really fed off of that information with finding out, what are people looking for, and being able to answer that. And that's kind of the jump off for Psychedelic Spotlight.
Yeah, no, awesome. Well, I think we've touched on a lot of great stuff, obviously about the website, and people will be able to see it live. It'll be in the description below. We were seeing some questions of people saying, how are you positioning the company for kind of future growth in the psychedelics industry? Is there anything you want to touch on that? I think, obviously we've mentioned a lot of stuff in this video already, but is there anything additionally that you want to touch on?
No, just, other than saying that, we will work to monetize ultimately. In the beginning, I think it's just crucial right now, like I said, to gather that information and to transmit information, and really coming together breaks down barriers. And that's what we attain to do, working with the right players in the space, and utilizing our network. So from a business standpoint, I think the possibilities are endless, and, we will identify, which direction we want to go from a business perspective. But initially, the same way that we were prominent, in the payment space, we really have to dive into the psychedelic side and figure out where we want to affect the most change. And then we will figure out from a business development standpoint how we want to monetize on that.
Awesome. Well, I think you touched on a lot of great stuff. I think this was awesome. It's nice you guys are bringing obviously the marketing and cannabis knowledge, to the psychedelic space. I think it's incredibly valuable. And people should be excited to kind of see where Psychedelic Spotlight is in the next couple of months, and Global Trac. So sounds good. I guess we'll kind of leave this here unless there's anything you want to say to cap it off.
No, just that we're also definitely excited, and everyone go see psychedelicspotlight.com.
Perfect. All right. Well, Vanessa, thanks for hopping on.